Well, with the interest of time and it's clock is ticked noon, why don't we get things going here? I want to
Okay.
thank you guys for joining Maine today. Welcome to our webinar on patents and trademarks. We're joined today by John Hutchinson. He is an experienced business librarian and representative at the Patent and Trademark Resource Center and an expert on this topic. If you haven't, if you're looking to have your stuff patented or trademarked, this workshop's for you. John, why don't you take it away?
Hello. Like Jasper said, my name is John Hutchinson. I'm the business librarian here at University of Maine and Folklore Library. I'm also the representative for the Patent and Trademark Resource Center. There are many patent and trademark resource centers located around the country. This is the only one in Maine, located in Folklore Library. And today I'll be going to be giving you two presentations. I'm going to be talking about patents and trademarks. I have two different PowerPoint presentations. I intend to arrange for them to be shared with all registrants, so I don't have to worry about madly scribbling down everything on every slide. So with that, let's get started here. I'll start this one. I'm gonna do patents first, and that's me. And also, there's a link to the Patent and Trademark Resource Center guide that I've made and I maintain, with a lot of helpful introductory information about patents and trademarks. Okay, now about patents. Now, what is a patent anyway? A patent is a legal agreement given by the U.S. government, giving its owner the right to exclude others from manufacturing, using, marketing, selling, offering for sale, or importing an invention for a specified period of time. And a patent granting authority issues a patent to an inventor if her invention is novel, useful, and non-obvious. That's the official language. Three things: novel, useful, and non-obvious, and only in return for a full public disclosure about how the invention is made or used. That's what a patent does. I like to point out an important function of a patent. It says here, it gives the owner the right to exclude others from manufacturing, using, marketing, or selling. But the reverse of that is true. It gives the patent owner the right to include people, to license, to allow them to manufacture, using, marketing, and selling. In other words, it gives you licensing rights. It gives you the right to say, I have this great ice cream, like a snow cone machine, and if you pay me a licensing fee, you can use my snow cone machine, and people make a lot of money that way. I want to point this out too, that full public disclosure and how the invention is made or used, that's an important part of a patent, and I'll be mentioning this later too. A patent needs to reveal everything about the invention. A patent is no way to keep a secret. A patent shows everything about the invention. There are actually three kinds of patents. The first one is utility patents for a new and useful process, machine, or article. All right. This is what most people think of when they hear the word patent. They're by far the most common type of patent, but they're not the only kind of patent. There's also design patents for a new, original, ornamental design. They only function as a decoration or affecting how something looks. A great example I like to use is a font, a typeface, different types in typefaces. The first design patent in American history was for a different kind of font, a typeface for lettering. And people still patent all kinds of different fonts. A word in two different fonts is still recognizably the same word, but it looks different. That's a good example of a design patent. There's also plants. For going on 100 years, you're able to patent or you're allowed to patent an asexually reproducing plant. Most commonly flowers, decorative flowers, and in some cases, fruits and nuts. Patents always expire. Utility and plant patents expire after 20 years. Design patents expire after 15 years. You can also expire, a utility patent can expire if you don't make your payments. There are maintenance payments that are charged to you at 3.5 years, 7.5 years, and 11.5 years. And if you don't make those payments, your patent lapses and it's no longer in force. Plant and design patents don't have any maintenance payments. Let's go over this again. It has to be a novel aspect The entire invention doesn't need to be entirely new, but the part that's being patented does need to be new and not existing in the past anywhere. They must perform a function referred to as usefulness, and they must be non-obvious. Has to be different from what has been described before, and something that wouldn't be obvious to someone having ordinary skill in the area of technology related to the invention. Let's talk about car parts, perhaps. If you invented a new kind of fuel injection system, and you had an innovation to it, it would have to be something that's not obvious, an obvious improvement to anyone with a normal amount of skill in a fuel injection system. Not just something that's not obvious to the average person on the street with no car mechanic ability or training. It has to be non-obvious to someone in the field of the invention. Here I'm reiterating, I got ahead of myself, but it's innovations can't be trivial. Innovations must be something that's not obvious, because patents are meant to support a meaningful process in the fields of technology and design. Okay, and I'm going to teach you an odd phrase, but an important one. It's something that comes up a lot with patents. Patents novel and not existing in what is the prior art. Prior art is any evidence that your invention, your innovation was already known. Prior art does not need to exist physically or be commercially available. It's enough that somewhere, sometime, somebody described or shown or made something that contains a use of technology that's similar to your invention. The European Patent Office puts this well. A prehistoric cave painting can be prior art. A piece of technology that is centuries old can be prior art. An idea that cannot work can be prior art. Anything can be prior art. Here's more, courtesy of one of our professors here at University of Maine. Prior art can be any patent, U.S. or foreign. It can be patent applications, can be thesis, dissertations, magazine articles, books, manuals. Everything that has come before can be prior art if it resembles something that you're trying. It resembles your innovation. So, with that in mind, searching the prior art is vital. You always search the prior art, searching all previous patents and patent applications, which is a lot easier than it used to be, because now you can search all patents and patent applications from the USPTO website. Keep in mind that anything can result in rejection if your application resembles an earlier application. It can even occur if your application represents an earlier application that failed. You can even be rejected for resembling a rejected patent. And there's a big difference from trademarks. Examiners won't just look at registered patents. Patent examiners look everywhere. Look in the press, the popular press, scientific literature, popular culture, for anything that would affect your patent's novelty. They look everywhere. If you are going to apply, though, there is something called a provisional application. If you're planning to get a utility patent or a plant patent, and you aren't ready to submit a full application, you can submit what's called a provisional application. It doesn't have as many requirements. A provisional application doesn't include the claims section. On a full, normal patent application, there's a section called the claims section, where you have to describe in prescriptive detail in a very rigid format what exactly you are asking for patent protection for. What is the nature of your innovation and what it is. And it's the most important part because it describes what you want to patent. And it's also the most technical part and the most challenging. But you can place what's called a provisional application, where it's an application without the claims. And you could submit a provisional. And after that, you have 12 months to follow up with a full application. Now, you might say, well, what's the point of submitting a partial one if I'm just going to do something later? Well, it's possible that you have basic idea of what you want to submit, but you might not have the claims all figured out because the claims section is very difficult. So you can submit a application just to kind of get the ball rolling. Also, once you're submitted, you can legally use the phrase patent pending on the invention. Don't use patent pending without submitting an application. That's fraud. And if you get caught, you get fined. But you can put patent pending, even though you don't have a full application. And from what I've read, investors love that patent pending. If you're pitching your idea to investors, they like to say, oh, patent pending. He's got an application and it works. He must be taking this really seriously. And you can also discuss your invention publicly without the public declaration being considered prior art. So that having a provisional in the works frees you up to do some things that give you an advantage. Now, the question I always get, do I need a lawyer? And I got a cartoon here saying, as I tell my clients, when the jubilant cries of Eureka have died away, the patent attorney's job begins. But a lawyer is not required. But patent application is it's a complex process. This is a legal document. If you're asking for legal rights conferred by the government to give you legal rights, and the communications back and forth between you and the USPTO, they'll be using very detailed legal language. And it is possible you can weed your way through the legalese, and it's possible you can do that if it's really smooth process and the patent examiner doesn't have any questions or objections to your application. But if applications do arise, a lawyer would be better suited to better able, through their experience and familiarity with the genre of law that is patent law, that they'll be more able to deal with it. Keep in mind that, like I said in the slide, a lawyer, you can't just declare yourself a patent lawyer. A lawyer has to pass a specific and separate patent bar exam before you can legally practice patent law. You have to pass another bar exam on top of the state bar exam you already passed. A big no-no for those of us at PTRCs is I cannot recommend a lawyer to you. I can only advise you that their patent lawyers exist in Maine, and you can find them with a web search if you want to. And also, this slide has a link to the USPTO pro bono program, where there is a way for people across the country to apply to get free legal advice. Pro bono means no cost legal advice, and there is a way you can apply. It's not guaranteed, but you can fill out an application form and apply to get pro bono legal advice. You still have to pay all the application fees and on everything to the patent office, but you can get free legal advice, which is big money savings. Now, at this point, you might be thinking that it's pretty complicated, and it is. Keep in mind that getting a patent is expensive, and the fees for getting and maintaining a patent can be very high. And not to mention, if you discover someone's infringed your patent, and you have to bring them to court, that's more money too. If someone sues you for patent infringement, that's more money too. It can take a long time. The average length of time to get a patent is around 2.5 years. It can be a lot longer. It's, like I said, it's very public. A big part of getting a successful patent application is what's called the enablement clause. And the enablement clause means in your patent application, you can't just describe what your invention does. You have to actually describe how to build it. The enablement clause means someone reading your patent should know exactly what it's made of, and they have the ability to build it. But if you do decide to get one, keep in mind the Patent and Trademark Center is here to help you. I can help you. I can talk all day about how to do a successful patent search. If we have time here, I hope to. Yeah, I think I should have time. I can show you the actual patent search and what it looks like. It's free for everyone in the world, not just people here on campus. I can help you in person or remotely. And even if you come here in person, even the printing is free. The printing is not free for the general public coming in here, and the printing is not free even for our students. But here the PTRC is in a private setting. It's free from prying eyes and ears. I asked for and received the right to have a free printer. It's right behind me over there. And you can also, there's also, if I'm not open or not available, you can also call the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office Inventor Assistance Center, and they can help you a lot of this stuff too. And they can do something I can't, which is they can advise you how to fill out the forms or what forms you need to fill out, and I'm not allowed to do that. Okay, worried about enforcement of patent. If your car is stolen, you call the cops, and they handle the thief, and they catch the thief, and the courts prosecute. You're not going to get a bill from the police department for their time and trouble catching the thief and getting your car back. That's not true of patents and trademarks. If your patent and trademark is infringed upon, you pay the legal fees to bring the matter to court. You're in charge of doing that. People often ask me about copyright. Copyright is often grouped together with patents and trademarks. That's understandable. They're all very important in the area of intellectual property. But it's not part of the Patent and Trademark Office where I get my training. Copyright is administered by the Library of Congress, which is a totally different part of the federal government. If you're wondering about copyright, I recommend just going right to the source. The Copyright Office has a great website. And you got a couple of very helpful links here at the copyright.gov that can help you with that. And there's my contact information. That's me. And email, phone number, and my mailing address. And I'm gonna let me exit out of PowerPoint here. Go to my browser. And I'm going to show you briefly a search, what the patent search looks like on. This is the Patent and Trademark website right here. And if you go under Find It Fast, there it is, Patent Public Search. And as I tell everybody with every database, always pick advanced. Advanced doesn't mean it's harder. Advanced means that you're going to be looking for, it gives you more opportunities to make your search more detailed and find a lot of things that are related. Basic search means that if you know exactly your patent number or know exactly the name of the patent you're looking for, that's a basic search. But if you're looking for a number of things of a type of machine or invention, you want to go for advanced. Let me move this over there. Okay, this is the patent public search. And let's say, for example, you want to do a search for, you're thinking about inventing a pencil sharpener. People do that all the time, even now. So if I type in pencil sharpener, and I'm just doing this, a very basic search to show you the ways that a typical search needs to be narrowed down. If I do a search on pencil sharpener, I get 133,000 results. Well, you'll notice the first few we see aren't pencil sharpeners. That's because it's pulling up things that have the word pencil in one part of the application or the patent and sharpener in another one. And we don't want to just be looking for the word pencils or sharpeners anywhere. We want those words to be together. So you put it in quotes. And you put it in quotes, it's only going to find those things that have the words pencil sharpener together like that. And putting things in quotes, that works on Google too, and other search engines you might use. Okay, now we chopped it down to a little less than 3,000. But right now we're seeing this, the top thing is vaporizer cartridge. And the next one, a vaporizer device. And that's got nothing to do with pencil sharpeners because it's looking, again, throughout the entire application. This application might mention pencil sharpeners somewhere else. But here I'm going to show you this very helpful help tab. See that help? The help tab is very helpful because if you scroll down, it gives you all the information you need to make your search more precise. And I'm going to scroll down to the part I want to talk about. Limiting your search to a certain part of the application. I only want to find something that's actually titled pencil sharpener, like this, right? Like the title of this is vaporizer device. I want something that has the word pencil sharpener in the title. And if we go down to, there's a way to limit it to just the searching the title. And you do it by taking that letter TI. It gives a example off the side here. You put dot and TI and then another dot. So dot TI dot. Okay, and now you're finding all these should have pencil sharpener in the title. And I want to point out this too. We're searching not just one database, we're actually searching 3 databases. USPG Pub, USPAT, and USOCR. USPG Pub is you're searching applications that are currently in process and haven't been decided upon one way or the other whether or not they're going to be patented. So if you want, you can, let's take that out. We're not going to search the publications. And USOCR, that's those are scanned in documents. It's usually the only way you can do a search on really, really old patents from like the 19th century and late 18th century patents. They're scanned in instead of typed. Well, let's take that out too. Let's do this search again and only search actual patents that are currently patents that were granted. Okay, and look, there's pencil sharpener. And if we click on this, we can actually see a picture of the pencil sharpener. Here is the patented pencil sharpener. And let's look at this. That's the page. You can see there are multiple views of the pencil sharpener. Nicely diagrammed. And over here, they have, there's a detailed description of what the patent is, of how to read the diagram, gives a summary of what it's about. It gives a background of what led them to want to invent this, or the background sometimes says what problem or what problem this invention is supposed to solve or what it addresses. And the last page, sometimes in the last page, they'll have an additional diagram. Looks like this one doesn't, but it's a patent. But I want to show you the last. One thing you want to know is, I want to make this clear. If you're going to do a search, doing a search for words that describe your invention, that's great. But look at these. These are classification codes. These are CPC classification codes. Okay. And every patent, going all the way back to the very, very first patent, 1790, have classification codes assigned to it that describe what the patent is actually about. This one is complex enough that it has more than one classification code that describes more than one part. The one you want to click on is usually the top one, is usually the one that's most descriptive about the device as a whole. B43L23008. And if we click on that, it takes us to another page. That takes us to the classification codes for the U.S. Patent Office. There's over 250,000 different classification codes. And the one we just clicked on is B43L23008. And that's a subsection of B43L2300, sharpeners for pencils or leads. And 008 is with rotating cutting bodies. So that's the classification code. Let's say that that's exactly what you want to look at. You can just copy that. Oh, come on, John. Let's see if I can do it again. There, copy. Go to another one. And we can do a search on a classification code. But here's something, for my money, the most ridiculous thing about a patent search. Okay, that's the classification code we want to search, right? It's copied. It's exactly what it says over there, right? Right. But to actually do the search, you got to take out the spaces. You have to manually take out the spaces. Over here, it's got spaces, but they don't want the spaces for you to actually do a search. It's a good sign this is a government operation. So I'm going to do CPC. I'm limiting to the CPC part. And if I do a search on that, it brings up everything on the site that has a pencil sharpener as its at least a pencil sharpener as part of the design, including this. It brings up this pencil sharpener is not in the title, but it's bringing it up because this portable art case has a pencil sharpener as an integrated part of it. So it's even finding things that aren't titled pencil sharpener. When you do a search like that with the classification code, it's vital. It's indispensable. You need to get at least one classification code. And if you find something that's really descriptive of your innovation, your invention, you're going to start making a list of all these classification codes and doing a search on those. And am I saying that you get a good long list of patents and start looking through them? Well, yeah. I mean, you should look at all these patents and see if anything resembles your innovation, or hire a lawyer and they'll do it for you. But it's a good idea, even if you're going to use a lawyer, do a search on your own, because that way, if you get the bad news that your invention has already come before and your invention isn't an original idea, at least you're finding it out for free. Instead of hiring a lawyer and they do a 10-minute search and they find something and they say, nope, sorry, your invention is not patentable, and here's my bill. So you gotta pay for the privilege of finding out that your patent's not going to work. So make sure something. So that's what a search looks like, and that's how it can start. You go back here. And okay, what is that? So, I see there's a couple of questions in chat. Jasper, that's something.
That is just me asking. Well, I think it's a good time to ask if anyone does have
Yes.
questions. I was just reminding people that we can queue them up in chat.
Okay.
I'd have myself, I was reading some news today. I'm a big video game fan, and there's a recent thing with the Nintendo company that they have patented things that certain elements that go into a video game that seem unenforceable. What's your thought on that?
Well, I hadn't read about that. I know that elements of video games can be patented as design patents. I mean, you can design something if you can design something. A design patent is interestingly. I can let me see if I can pull up a design patent here, because they look much different. I'm just type in something that's really technical here to get a design patent here. Okay. There are no design patents for that classification, but it's okay. I can just do this. And okay, here's a design patent. And this is a design patent apparently for a inline skating game goal. And you can see that the application is not very technical. It's just a bunch of pictures, because design patents are only about what something looks like. And you can see it's just instead of a long, complicated enablement clause saying here's what I invented, here's how to make it, here's what it addresses. This is just someone saying, okay, I made this game goal, and here's a bunch of views of it, and what I claim, something looks like this. This is my claim. Anything that looks like this with these specifications, that's my patent. And I'm sure that's what Nintendo's doing too. Because I strongly suspect they are. They're just making elements for the game, like a player or a piece of scenery or something, and they're putting a design patent on something that's portrayed in the game.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think that, I think anyone could also, benefit from that information as well. So, if you're a design patent could be helpful for someone in this webinar, maybe.
Absolutely. That's a question I often get, is that people ask, can you patent computer programs, or what a computer program looks like? And I say, you bet your life.
Nice.
Large software companies have a nonstop stream of patent applications for design applications and utility applications for all kinds of things to deal with software.
Interesting.
I don't know if they still do, but if you order Domino's Pizza online, they actually have the patent number for their design, for their their own proprietary ordering process. They have the patent number for the Domino's Pizza online ordering service.
Interesting. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if anyone else does have any questions, please feel free to either use the raise hand function or queue it up in the chat, and I will butt in with them. Okay. Unless you've got anything else on this topic, John, why don't we head over to trademarks?
I'm going to close patents and go on to trademarks here.
All right. Like I said, feel free to let us know if you got questions, everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. Go here. Show. Right there. Okay, there's my slide again. That's me. Again, with a link to the section of my PTRC guide about trademarks. I want to give credit where credit is due. The following slides are drawn in part of training materials presented by Jason Lott of the USPTO at the 2023 Annual Patent and Trademark Resource Center Training Seminar. All of us PTRC people are required to receive training every year. And the 2023, Jason Lott, who is an amazing trademark lawyer and charismatic training person, I drew some of this from him. Okay, now what is a trademark? A trademark identifies the source of goods or services that you find in the marketplace. A trademark distinguishes itself from the goods and services of other products. And it potentially provides legal protection for a brand. And I've provided a link on this slide to the section of the USPTO Gov about trademarks. Here are some famous trademarks here. You probably recognize it. A trademark can be the product's brand name or a slogan or a logo or any combination. It can be colors. I know that Netflix has a patent on, has a trademark on a particular shade of Netflix red. It can be packaging. It can be the shape of a container. That's the fun name for that is the trade dress. Trade dress, that particular shape of a Coke bottle, that's a trademark. It can even be musical notes. That link there will take you to a YouTube short recording of the NBC 3 times. NBC, dung, dung, dung. That's trademarked. You can trademark musical notes, and that's a trademark of the NBC Corporation. Now, a domain name, if you can register a domain name, it provides a web address, but that's not automatically your trademark. And the name of your business is not necessarily a trademark. It might not be trademarkable. So why do you want a trademark anyway? If you trademark with the USPTO, with the federal government, your trademark will be registered throughout the country, not just one state or another narrow geographical area. If someone infringes on your trademark, you can bring legal action regarding your trademark in federal court. Federal courts tend to have a broader range of remedies and more expertise in IP law. Your trademark can be registered with the U.S. Customs and Border Protection. That helps prevent the importation of counterfeit knockoff products, if that's a concern. And use the coveted R symbol. That's circled R. Do not use a circled R without an official registration, or you'll be in big trouble. The trademark does not mean you legally own a word or a phrase. It does not mean you can stop other people from using a word or a phrase. And it certainly does not mean that a trademark does not mean people owe you money when they use it. Now, same question again. Do I need a lawyer for a trademark? It's not required. But again, it's a complex process. People who communicate during the application process, they're going to be using legal language on you. Lawyers can be expensive, but statistics show legal assistance results in a quicker process with fewer complications. And again, you can, there's a network of law school clinics. Maine doesn't have one. Maine has a law school, but there are no trademark law school clinics. But that link will take you to a section of the website, the USPTO website, that will tell you which law schools nationwide might be able to offer you some free advice and free legal advice. Here's a word about common law. Do you need to have a registered trademark? Not necessarily. If you use a trademark in commerce, it automatically creates something called common law rights for the geographical area you're in. And the longer you use your mark in commerce, the more common law rights you automatically accrue. And these rights can even potentially be used in court in infringement cases. And keep in mind, you can just put a TM symbol. Everyone's seen this letter TM. I've got one on the screen here. TM, raised above the bottom line. Using the phrase TM, it does not require federal registration. You can just use it to show the world signal that, hey, this thing right here, this word or logo or picture, this is my mark. And if you like my product and you want to see others like it or buy others like it, just look for this symbol, and that's my trademark. keep in mind that when you submit your trademark application, they only search registered trademarks. They don't search out there in the world at all. They'll just search, they get your trademark application and you look at it and they'll look at it and say, okay, it doesn't look like it's registered. It doesn't resemble anything else on this, on our trademark list. So you're all fine with us, but it's possible you start using it and you might use your trademark out there in the world and then find out that someone else who's not registered has a similar mark to yours and they have common law rights. And even if it's completely possible for someone with lots and lots of many years of common law rights built up, they can beat a registered trademark in court if they've been around a long time. It's possible. So it's up to you to look out there in the marketplace and look for similar trademarks. There's also state registration. Every state in the nation has a section of has a department in the state government that's you can apply for trademark protection and register in the state you're doing business in. I have a link to the section of the state of Maine government that handles registering a corporate trademark. State registrations tend to be simpler, less expensive, and quicker than registering with the USPTO, but it's only going to provide protection in the state you're registering. But not every trademark is registrable. Not every trademark is enforceable. But trademark must avoid confusion with other brands. You must have no likelihood of confusion with other brands in the same basic line of business as you. And this includes, it doesn't have to be an exact match to be likelihood of confusion. You might have a trade if your product has the term marquee, you also have to do a search for things that have marquee or marquee or marquee. You notice when I say it out loud, it sounds like the same word. When you look at it, they're spelled differently. They're spelled differently, but they sound the same, and sounds the same can still create confusion. You also got to think about foreign translations in mind. If you have a product, Sheep Incorporated, and there's another similar company called Mouton, that might be a problem because Mouton is French for sheep, and that's a concern. If your product is being sold in an area with a substantial French-speaking population, like a lot of places in Maine do, that can be a likelihood of confusion. It's best to use trademarks that suggest what the product does. That's one tip for a strong mark. And if you have an idea for a suntan oil, calling it Great Tan Incorporated, that's too generic. They're not going to approve that. It's too generic, and they don't like generic, literally descriptive. But you can use something that suggests what the product is about, like copper tone. Copper tone suggests that your skin will have a nice copper tone when you get a tan, and copper tone is a registered trademark. Also, just being arbitrary and random. It's a great way to register a trademark. Pick a word. If you have an apple orchard and you try to register it as being Apple Incorporated, that's going to get rejected. But if you name your computer company Apple, that was registered in 1979, it's still going. It's completely arbitrary. Apples have nothing to do with computers. And I'm sure that ran through their minds when they named it. Choosing an Apple to represent a computer company that's arbitrary, random, and that's a strong trademark. Also, just invent a word. The USPTO loves it when you invent a word for a trademark. Just invent just any nonsense word you want. No one ever heard the word Xerox, but the founders of a company took an ancient Greek word and they switched it around a little bit and made it end in X. And now Xerox is a registered trademark. You might be thinking, can I just trademark my family name? Like if I wanted to found Hutchinson Books or Orono Clothes, naming a trademark with a family name or a geographic name might seem obvious, but they're heavily discouraged by the USPTO. There's a process of determining whether or not you can do it. It's too complicated to go into here. I can talk to you more about it at length if you make an appointment, but just it's best to avoid that. A good trademark is a combination. It's a combination of a word or a picture to a product or service. A trademark is the joining of your trademark to whatever your business is. Two similar or identical trademarks can coexist if they represent different products. There's a Delta Faucets and a Delta Airlines. They don't sue each other because one's faucets and one Delta. There's no likelihood of confusion there. There's Dove ice cream bars and Dove soap. Very different products, but there's no likelihood of confusion. At least I hope there isn't. People start eating bars of soap. But they don't sue each other. What you don't want is infringement. Because if you have a similar business and you copy someone else's trademark and just change it a little bit, you can get a lot of trouble. You probably all heard of Under Armour. Well, a Chinese company decided they want to go into the same business and they called themselves Uncle Martian. See how it looks very much the same. Same font and everything. Guess what? Under Armour sued them and they won 2020 and they had to stop doing that. There's also 7-Eleven. We all know 7-Eleven. A convenience store in York County decided to get cute and they called themselves Super 7. 7-Eleven sued them in 2015. They lost. This is unusual, and this is something that you deserve to know about. Even if you're not in a similar line of work, you can still get sued if the company really wants to sue you. This is unusual, but it does happen. There's a burger chain called In-N-Out Burger. I don't think they have anything east of Texas, so most people in Maine haven't encountered them unless they've been to California. It was In-N-Out Burger, and that's their logo. They're a very successful burger chain. And this smart aleck dry cleaning service in Wichita, Kansas decided they're going to copy it a little bit, In-N-Out Cleaners. It looks kind of the same. And In-N-Out Burger really didn't like that. And so In-N-Out Burger, even though it's a burger chain suing a dry cleaner, they bought a huge lawsuit against them and they were forced to drop it. They were forced to drop that as their logo. In-N-Out Burger is famously litigious. They will sue everybody about anything. So the cleaners might have thought, well, we're a dry cleaner and they're a burger chain. They won't care. No, they did care. So that can happen too. It's something you need to be aware of. Also, people ask me, okay, what if I have a trademark in mind and I've already started, or if I have a trademark and I've already started using it, is that okay? Do I have to wait until I get a registered trademark? No, you can do it either way. You can register, you can apply before you started using it, or you can apply after you started using it. It costs the same either way. There's a different process for it, but you can do it either way. And my favorite fact about trademarks is this is the biggest difference between trademarks and patents. Patents, they expire after 15 or 20 years. Trademarks, if you fill out the forms and make payments every 10 years to renew your trademark, you can live forever. The Underwood Deviled Ham trademark, first registered 1868, still there. One thing though, when you encounter this on a trademark search, here is the Brave Bear Corporation. They make stuffed bears and novelty toy items. And it says abandoned. It's not, it says down here, it's a dead trademark, dead, it's abandoned. You might think, well, that means I don't have to worry about that. It's not, it's no longer in force. I can call my company Brave Bear. No. See, trademarks are the land of the living dead. Dead just means it's no longer registered with the trademark. They just, for whatever reason, the Brave Bear Corporation let their trademark lapse, but they're still out there in the marketplace. Maybe they decided that they had so much common law saved up, and they're looking to save some money, so they decided, okay, we're gonna let our trademark registration lapse, but we're still out here in the marketplace. We'll just deal with our brand recognition without that. Or companies, even big companies, sometimes just forget to renew, and they might have forgotten to renew, and that means they gotta apply all over again to get their trademark. But if you see dead, that doesn't mean it's gone. It just means it's dead on the USPTO registration list. Okay, let's say, for example, you want to open an air conditioner repair service. you have to look up the right industrial code. You go to the USPTO website and select ID manual from the find it face menu. This is me telling you in basically how you do a search. Go to the ID manual. You got to figure out the classification code for your business. You do a search, and we can see repair of air conditioners has this guide. You only ever need the first 3 digits. The other digits after that are just for the internal use by the USPTO. So for an air conditioning repair service, it's 037. Then you got to decide on your trademark. Yeah, and if you decide you want to have a jazzy logo, I said, okay, I'm going to make a logo for my air conditioning repair service. I want a bear in a superhero outfit. That's going to be my logo for my air conditioner repair service. Like this. I made this with AI. So it's going to be Super Bear AC Repair. That's going to be my logo. So I find the design code. The design code, all designs and all different kinds of things used on the USPTO website. They have a design code list. The design code, if you want to look for all trademarks that have costumed bears and those with human attributes, you can do a search on the code is 030126. Bad news. You do a search on that. Look at this. You're out of luck. There's Bear Valley Plumbing and Heating from Bear Valley, California. They have a superhero bear and they're an air conditioning repair. So chances are you're not going to get your trademark. Well, you're not going to get a trademark. You have to change your mark. You got to pick something else that's not a bear in a superhero outfit. You have to pick out some entirely different logo, because the Bear Valley Plumbing and Heating Corporation in California, they might sue you for infringement for your air conditioning contractor service. Something to point out, there's if you apply for a patent, you put in your application and you communicate back and forth with the patent office. And if you're approved, then you get your patent, right? Trademarks have an additional step called published for opposition. Means your trademark application is published in the USPTO Trademark Gazette. Gazette's available to the public. Anyone who objects to your trademark, if someone reads the Gazette, sees your trademark and says, oh, no, wait, that infringes on my trademark. That's not fair. I'm going to oppose it. And they can bring an opposition up, and you'll have to defend your trademark in an advisory board of the USPTO, the trademark board. I've read interviews with trademark lawyers who say this happens very, very rarely. I think they said that one of them said in all their years of helping hundreds and hundreds of trademark applications, they said that getting oppositions happen like 1% of the time. But it can happen. It's just something you need to know about. It's an additional step that after it's been published, it's up there for 30, the public has 30 days to publish an opposition. The Gazette is actually a massive publication. The one that came out, it comes out every Tuesday. The one that just came out is 23,458 pages long. It's about one trademark per page. So that's just about as many trademarks as application. And those 23,458 pages, most of them are going to be new applications. Some are going to be renewals, but most of them are going to be new applications that may or may not be approved. And this is a recap of what I talked about. You design a trademark design, do a thorough search on searching the trademark database and the real world market, hire a lawyer, apply for the trademark, engage in back and forth with the trademark examiner, and then the Trademark Gazette. And then after you get approved, you pay all appropriate fees and keep renewing that mark every 10 years. Is it complicated? Oh, yeah. It's a complex process. It can be expensive. But you can call the Trademark Assistance Center at the USPTO. They're a nice bunch of folks. And you might be able to contact a law school clinic that can give you free legal advice, and that can be helpful. And there's also me, the PTRC here at the University of Maine. I can help you out. I can help you with basic information about getting a trademark, and I can certainly help you all day long. I can talk about doing a trademark search all day long, and I can get as technical as you want me to. Okay, John, how much is it going to cost? Let's go right to the source. There is, here's the, go here, and that link will take you to this page with different applications, different application fees. As you can see here, they really, really want you to do electronically only. And if you're not someone with reliable internet service, that's going to be a problem because they're really trying to stop people. They really want an all electronic filing process. And if you don't have internet connection or not reliable internet sources, that's another reason to get a lawyer, because if you're in the trademark lawyer field, you're likely to have a working internet connection. And there's all kinds of different fees. There's trademark petition fees. There's post-registration fees. If you get opposed after being published for opposition, there's trademark trial and appeal board fees. So it can get very expensive. I can take just a few minutes and show you what the trademark search looks like. And go back here. Let's back out of the patent public search and go to the trademark search. Trademark search looks very different. It's a totally different thing. Let's now, some trademarks are just words, and the trademark office calls them word marks. If there's no picture or logo with it, just words, call it a word mark. So I'm just going to say, if I wanted to trademark something about the word superhero. And here there's different ones. There's superhero watches, superhero therapy. There's voiceover. So this is just a very basic search on what superheroes are. And there's, look, you can limit by living or dead. So if I only look at the live ones, there's that. But remember, it doesn't have to be an exact match to be a problem. So you might want to, if you've already looked for the word superhero as one word, but how about looking for the words superhero as two words? That brings up even more. You can see the word superhero is more commonly done with two words. So it's important to think about, if you have a word in mind, think of every possible connotation, even incorrect or strange spellings of something. Look at every possible different spelling or different configuration of the letters that are going to be in your word mark. You can also, let me go here. You can also look it up, as I mentioned. Go to expert. Go to design code, and this is fun. This is the design code manual, and here are all the different categories of different pictures that you can use to do a search for different artwork used in logos. And I like going to this one. The class 4 is supernatural beings, mythological, legendary, fantastical beings, or unidentifiable beings. I'm gonna scroll down to 0401. I like this one. Mythological beings, super beings, ghosts, and aliens. That's just fun. I'm gonna copy that 040107. And I'm gonna go back to the home. Come on. Ow. And sometimes this does happen, or it won't. Sometimes if a lot of people are using it at the same time, it can lock up, but we're doing it now. Design code. Okay. Fine. And this is 5,930 of ghosts, aliens, and superheroes. So there's a superhero there. No, it's Sentinella. These are all those are all logos that are in that classification system. But over here, you can pick your industrial class. So let's say I want to look for restaurants that have these kind of beings in their logos. I'm going to click on that. And much smaller set. These are all the restaurants that have used odd looking beings or monsters or ghosts And am I saying you have to go through them all and see if any of them resemble what you're looking for? Well, yeah, kind of. You have to look and really think critically and think, okay, does this look anything like my logo and what I'm going to be doing? Or does this logo infringe on my logo? If I go into business with this logo, could this company sue me for infringement because it looks too similar? And that can happen, and it's a lot of work. They got to look through them all and really be critical about whether or not what you're seeing is going to be a problem for your trademark. And much like patent searching, I can get a lot more technical than this, but that's the absolute basics and what you can expect if you looking for trademarks like that. So with that in mind, we can go back to the last slide here. And again, there's my contact information. It's at the end of that slide deck as well. So, okay. That's the end of both my presentations. So what about it, Jasper?
Awesome. Great stuff, John.
Oh, good.
Very, very enlightening. I even was going to queue up a question because I'm an illustrator on the side as well as working here at SCORE.
Mhm.
And I have a little mascot that, I do for a local band. And going
Oh,
through
yeah.
that section you just did kind of answered the question I was going to ask. So, does anyone else have any questions today before we wrap things up?
Bands trademark logos all the time.
Mm.
I should make that clear. People think of trademarks as only identifying like a good that you're buying over the counter, like candy bars or something. A trademark can also be for a service, and certainly a band is providing a service. And bands and musical groups identifying themselves, it's very important to get a logo out there that identifies the music as being from that source. And people do that all the time. Yep.
Kay Kinsler's wondering, like a catchphrase, what kind of mark? What kind of mark would that be?
That's a word. That's still a word mark. The one I like to talk about is Nike Just Do It. And that's still a word mark, but it's different if it's treated a little differently if it's the slogan. The name of the company is Nike, but the slogan is Just Do It. So in some cases you want to trademark them both together, or in some cases, let's talk about Nike a little bit more. Look, if you picture a Nike, see if I can get lucky and find this here. So Nike logo. Yeah, perfect, right there. Nike, Just Do It. See, there's three elements: Nike, the word, and the swoosh, the famous swoosh, and Just Do It. And your logo might be something like that, and you might have your company name and your slogan. That's a great excuse or a great reason to talk to a trademark lawyer, because a trademark lawyer can look at it and tell you whether or not you should trademark the whole thing together, or if you should break it up into sections and trademark one trademark for Nike and one trademark for the swoosh and one trademark for Just Do It. Or in some cases, you want to trademark the entire thing. But it's Just Do It would be a word mark, but it's just a word mark that's not the name of the company.
Yeah, informative stuff. Andy Pham says thank you and very informative.
Oh, sure. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
And anyone else before we wrap things up one more time?
Jasper, I'm going to get you a copy of my slide deck, but it might not be right now because I got to teach a class later on this afternoon.
No problem at all.
I'll get these decks out. I'll get the decks out tomorrow.
All right, no problem. Once I have it, I'll share it with all of our registrants. And I want to thank everyone again for attending today. It's been a great, informative workshop.
That's good to hear.
And yeah, and if you're not familiar with SCORE, it's your first time joining us. We're a free business advice, and we're a nonprofit, and we're all volunteers here. If you don't have a mentor, we're here for any part of the life of your business, from opening it to selling it. You can apply for a mentor at score.org, and we're well versed in almost every field. So feel free to get in touch. And thanks again for everyone. Thank you one more time, John. Great presentation today.
Yeah. See you later. Bye.
Yeah, thank you,
Bye,
Bob.
everyone.
Okay, bye.